for, Kevin. So I'll let you. I'll let you have that in a second. Give me one moment. Obviously, a victory here for Sebastian Job will win the whole thing.
Yeah.
Next track though is Jeddah, where he did win quite comfortably earlier on.
Yeah.
So I think Sebastian Job's actually probably fairly comfortable right now.
Well, he might be. The only thing is he looked a little bit rattled as we're now watching the cars make their way around Curva Alboreto. It's Max Benneker at the front again. Seems to like it around here, does he not? He's got Kaiki Oliveira, 2 BMWs sharing the front row, with then an Audi belonging to Marcel Chinchik, a former successor around here at Monza alike. Sebastian Job bidding to take the driver's crown here in ESL R1 at the Esports World Cup. We're back again, should I say, back to back here at Monza, as now we put pedal to the metal, and it is go, 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 go. Great start for Max Benneker. Marcel Chinchik now trying to move into second, trying to run on the coattails of Max Benneker out in front, and now breaks away, looks to go down the inside, coming through the Retifilio chicane. In comes Luke Bennett out of absolutely nowhere, joined by Sebastian Job. 2 red line cars now, 3 and 4. They could be 2 and 4. But no, not this time. Chinchik battering back against Luke Bennett to withstand the pressure, take P2, but Benneker leads.
Yeah, Benneker from Chinchik, from Bennett, from Sebastian Job. I think Luke Bennett might jump out the way for Sebastian Job, or might try and force his way into this battle a little bit to allow Sebastian Job to make his way through. Let's wait and see. Benneker leads. The last team on planet Earth that Max Benneker will allow to win this race is Team Redline. He does not want to see Team Redline take a crown. It's one of those interesting ones, though. Despite how strong Team Redline have been, the only thing that they've won in ESL R1, realistically, is the Teams Championship in the spring season last year. They've never won a Drivers' Championship. They didn't win here at Gamers 8 last year. They didn't win the Teams Championship in the full season. And Max Benneker, who was a part of Redline in years past, that is the last team he wants to see take top honours.
Absolutely right. It's almost outlandish when we talk about former championships, and, Team Redline themselves haven't figured in any of them, should we say, necessarily. When I say that, obviously taking victories, but this time they're on the cusp of perhaps getting something monumental. They have, of course, got Sebastian Job in finalist mode. He's sat in 4th place. He isn't surrounded by a sea of cars that are looking to take his current 4th place spot away from him, but he is concerned with what's going on ahead of him. He's got teammate Luke Bennett just sat in 3rd. Further up at the top then, of course, Benneker still leads, and then 0.3 of a second back comes Marcel Chinchik, as now they burst down towards turn 1 once more. Chinchik, could he be on the attack? Runs right into the rear spoiler here of Max Benneker, and Luke Bennett, I think, smelt an opportunity because he moved to the inside. Chinchik tried to allay the challenge.
He almost looked to defend a little bit from Sebastian Job there. Don't know what Andre Kunchman is going to be thinking about that. Of course, sat there in the ear of Bennett, of Job, of Siggy as well. Yeah, he's the one basically managing Redline for all this. I'm sure Jeff Rietveld probably having a couple of words as well as they work their way through Curva Grande. Potential switch for the race leaders. Marcel Chinchik was looking to the inside, but Max Benneker was able to fend him off as they worked their way down into the Rogier. It's still Mouse leading from Vitality from the 2 red lines, which I'm amazed haven't switched positions. Look at the slide coming in from Joshua. Rogers behind in 8th place.
Yeah, Max Benneker, of course. The Rogier chicane was the scene of where he overtook Dara McCormack in our previous race to take the race lead, and therefore the race win when we crossed the start-finish line for the final time in our last outing around the Temple of Speed. Marcel Chinchik in 2nd, just within 0.3 of a second, and urging closer on the outside of the Seraglio Straight, and then heading into Ascari. The BMW, just getting a little sideways once more, but not too concerning as they now rumble over the curbs. The sleeping policeman as well on the inside, but now as they trundle down towards Curva Alboreto, Benneker consolidating the place. Sebastian Job needs to be, I think, a little bit more concerned with what's going on behind him now, because Kaiki Oliveira has hunted him down. Remember, that gap was farther more outwards. It's now down to 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, indeed. It is indeed closing in, as we'll see once they hit the slipstream. I'm amazed that Sebastian Job's not been able to keep up to the back of Luke Bennett either, as we head back out onto the start-finish straight. Once again, closing back in, staring back from Marcel Chinchik, who's in 2nd position, who's closing up for the race lead. He got on the brakes earlier on in the race, going down into the Rogier. Gets on the brakes this time as well, as here comes the look from Luke Bennett. Looks to the inside, but doesn't commit to it. Kaiki Oliveira is also closed into the rear end of Sebastian Job. Again, the only driver at the moment in finalist mode. Sebastian Job, if this competition is to come to a close in this race, Sebastian Job needs to get past Bennett, Chinchik and Benneker and must take the victory.
Well, the Audi, Marcel Cinčić took the fastest lap as he crossed the timing line last time around. Let's take a look at the replay here. Now, this is coming into the Rettifilo. This is at the start, where, of course, we saw Job tying up. Of course, Keke Oliveira was part of this. We then, of course, had Yuri Toman in the fight too. But then up at the front, it was all happening. Benneke would take the lead advantage. Cinčić in second. We're now taking a look at Keke Oliveira's view. He had to essentially part the Red Sea here, Lewis, because he had a Team Vitality on his left and a red line on his right.
Yeah, I mean, look, I will say that was all a little bit messy, but that was just because of hard racing down into turn one. No one really did anything wrong there. They were all just fighting for position. It was tough. It was hard fought. The reason why, like Yuri Toman cut across the inside, he had nowhere else really to go. He couldn't leave it on the inside. That would have caused a massive crash. No one really did anything wrong there down at T1. Now looking here over the shoulder of Max Benneke, the race leader, who's been leading, fair enough, but I will say Marcel Cinčić has had 2 opportunities thus far where he almost certainly could have taken over the race lead and did not take them. We've seen him be patient before, but now that he's got Luke Bennett closer and closer, I wonder how patient he can actually be.
Well, it does make you wonder. Naturally, here at Monza, it leaves very little room for patience, especially when you consider you've got some of the fastest straights in motorsport and then akin that to the fast chicanes. Of course, at the Roger, Rettifilo being the first one that we're now visiting, and then Ascari later on as we move into Sector 3. But Benneke now making his way through. Full commitment to the curbs on the inside and out, and a little twist there from what looked to be Luke Bennett coming through as well. Sebastian Job also trying to get closer and closer, but Bennett just twisting that rear up ever so slightly, and it was just moving from side to side a little bit on the escape coming out of turn 2. But as they come out of Curva Grande and a trip through towards the Roger this time, Benneke still very much out in front, but Bennett's starting to urge ever closer now. And then you never know, there could be an opportunity here because we haven't seen a Bennett victory, and judging from the form we saw coming into the Esports World Cup, you wouldn't necessarily be surprised for him to get one. Yeah, indeed. He's had some very up and downs, but in land sometimes it just doesn't quite work out for him. We saw this back in Munich as well as we ride on board with Marcel Cinčić, the latest driver to have completed 100 races, because someone is in their 100th race right now. Obviously, Marcel Cinčić in second position is its 101st race, the 100th race for Kevin Siggy as well. It means we've had 3 drivers today pass over the century mark, which means we've got quite a few that are over. And he headbutted his wheel to celebrate. What a celebration. My goodness. I think with those that have passed 100 races, it's 50-50 as to whether the race is going to be good, because obviously when Josh Rogers did, he won the entire round. When Marcel Cinčić did, he got a podium. And the other couple, not so great. No, tricky. So now enter Kerber Alboreto. Benneke once again leads them down. Cinčić, who has remained within his wheel tracks right through ever since the race start, will once again proceed in second place, just in behind the mouse driver. Of course, Benneke starting, as I said, his sim racing career in 2011 for Cinčić. You could say sim racing came to light for him. Ooh. Oh, look at this. Bennett up the inside, took full opportunity. Obviously knew that Cinčić wasn't going to plumb for it, so it opened up the door for him to move into second place. Great move from Bennett. Fully opportunistic, and now heads around Curva Grande in pursuit of Max Benneke. Just a single podium for Luke Bennett today. That was back at the Hockenheimring a couple of races ago. Outside of that, he's finished 5th, 4th, 8th and 6th. Could be on, though, for a victory. He's got past Cinčić down into the first chicane. Could well be getting past Max Benneke at some point, maybe over the next lap or so. A lot of curb being taken there. Benneke's still going to hang on to the race lead. Fastest laps in the hands of Marcel Cinčić. And Sebastian Job is not really in this fight right now, unless he's conserving tyres, which I really don't think he is, because that's quite a brave call right now. I don't think Sebastian Job's in contention for this victory, George. I think we are most certainly needing another race. Do you want to know the fun fact? We're going to Jeddah. Well, it's not only that, he's still going to be the only finalist right now. Absolutely bizarre, isn't it? How many chances does he want? But up at the front, it's Max Benneke. And now with Luke Bennett in second place, the young man from Bromsgrove, who 19 years of age, only in his 3rd year of sim racing, started it all back at the age of 16. His favourite track being Brands Hatch, and this track is far apart from what Brands Hatch truly is. Of course, when you consider the elevation and the track width as well, it's pretty much the opposite really, when we consider that.
Did you say his favourite track?
His favourite track is Brands Hatch.
Good Lord, get a life. Brands Hatch is pretty cool, but that's it's not there with like Bathurst or the Nordschleife or come on.
It's iconic.
Come on, Luke.
Give the Brands Hatch a break, Lewis McGlade. As we now watch Marcel Chinchik having a look and just swapping all over the back, incidentally, of Luke Bennett, who's been forced to defend up the inside, at the same time trying to be cautious of Benneker up at the front. Chinchik unable to plumb for a move. Job now over a second behind Marcel Chinchik. It's actually flooded out to 1.1 and he's 1.7 off the top. So Job almost certainly, should it stay like this, bear in mind, only 3 laps to go, certainly not enough time. You'd fathom anything can happen in sim racing. But as now we see Bennett up the inside, firing a warning shot to Max Benneker.
Yeah, just having a little look, having a gander, maybe going, I still can't get over this Brands Hatch fact. I mean, that's absolutely wild. To be fair, there are certain people that may never have heard of Brands Hatch. I know Zach Sweeney's definitely one of them. Never heard of Brands Hatch, that's for sure. That's not true. Here comes a look at the move. Like you say, Marcel Chinchik was just kind of lifting out of it just a little bit and allowed Luke Bennett to come through there. Bennett was just pretty opportunistic there, just went for it and thought that now was the time. But
well, I mean, it's not like he had anything to lose because, I mean, second place, he'd still have the slipstream of Max Benneker if he gets the move done. So, in fact, as far as Luke Bennett's concerned, it's the only move he could have made, I think, in that regard. So,
absolutely,
credit to him for it. And as a result, it's garnered him more points should it stay like this. But Chinchik is going to be very hard to shake because we all know how good he is at Monza historically.
Yeah.
We've got up at the front the Gamers 8 champion. We've got the very first spring season champion from last year, sat in 3rd place. Sebastian Job still working hard to try and close, but once again that gap is going outwards, Lewis. 1.3 now.
Yes, indeed, and we're looking at a driver who could potentially take his 18th victory, rather, in ESL R1. He's going to go for the race lead now, coming down into the opening chicane. I don't think Benneker's going to fight this too hard. You can see he's lifted out there slightly. He's happy to sit in 2nd position right now because guess what? He's got the slipstream. All that little fighting's going to do with a bit of a bump as well from Benneker. This is going to bring Sebastian Job and Kaiki Oliveira back into it. But right now, Max Benneker sat in 2nd position, the first driver to deny this red line dominance. While we still could be looking at another victory here, he's bump drafting Bennett just a touch.
But it has been successive wins for a BMW at this point. But what we can say about Benneker, you will not be too upset to lose the lead at this stage because remember, he overtook McCormack at the Rogier chicane on the final lap, heading through to the latter stages of this, at this very track at Monza in our previous race. And it was a great win for Benneker. Darren McCormack is not a very easy driver to get past. We all know how strong he truly is in that Mercedes for the Williams Esports team. But we're not seeing McCormack up at the front this time. This time it's Luke Bennett, the young pretender to the throne, who could yet become a sensation at Team Redline. Arguably already is a sensation as Benneker swaps all over the back of the BMW M4 as they now traipse through the Ascari chicane once more, sending it over the curbs. You just see how they're sliding in and off right now, trying to find the pace. A shake of the head, though, for Benneker.
The thing is for Benneker is right now, he's a little bit worried about Sebastian Job. Luke Bennett could be slowing them down to allow Sebastian Job to rejoin this fight because Benneker's not that far away from finalist mode. In fact, actually, what is the points for finalist mode? Remind me, George.
Do you remind?
It's 170.
170, of course,
Do you know how many points Max Benneker will have if he wins this race?
Do tell us.
169. Oof. Ouch. But he is closing in. Remember, he was actually a point away from finalist mode last year as well in the full cup as well. He's going to retake over the race lead comfortably, but I think Chinchik might make this 3 wide, actually.
He could well do. Whoa! At the inside, contact made between them. Oh, my goodness. In comes Luke Bennett. Late on the brakes. I think was more concerned about Marcel Chinchik, but this has automatically brought Sebastian Job back into this, who can essentially go on the full attack. Luke Bennett can't afford to make a mistake here. Side by side through Curva Grande, they will go. The Audi R8 LMS now looking to bid to retake that 2nd place that he lost to the man from Bromsgrove not too long ago. Side by side now once again into the Rogier. They're getting oh so tight. Coming through this. Enter Sebastian Job. Job heading up through the inside has taken 2nd place as they come through the Lesmo. And look at Kaiki Oliveira.
And he's 1.1 seconds away from the crown. Can he do it? I don't think he's going to be able to close his way back in. It's going to be a tall order for him, but he's able to sneak his way through in a 2nd spot. Max Benneker will be a race away from finalist mode. I don't know if he's going to get the opportunity next time we enter the race arena. Of course, it will be Jeddah, a circuit where Sebastian Job proved earlier on he's so very strong. Incredible stuff, though. Incredible scenes. Chinchik down to 5th.
The tactics backfired. They did not work. The gap is 1.2 between Jobe and Benneker, given the fact that he could go successive back-to-back wins here at Monza. You're staring at Max Benneker, last year's winner here at Riyadh in Gamers 8. Sebastian Jobe looking to become a champion in ESL R1 for the very first time. Has not yet done it. Max Benneker's been there and done it. He was also one of the first ever winners in ESL R1 all the way back in Katowice when this all started. But now Bennett on the tail of his teammates. Surely he will not plumb for an overtake in the last-ditch effort of the day. 2 red line cars in the top 3 is obviously more than enough. Bennett reneges.
Yeah, indeed. Bennett will probably actually sit in 3rd position now. I mean, Luke Bennett's way too far behind the points. He's 6th position. He's on 129. That's actually not even remotely true. I'll hold back on the fire on that one. Luke Bennett's in 5th position on 129 points. There we go. Yeah, sure, he can close in. He can maybe get himself into finalist mode, but it would be for the final race where things are going to get a little bit awkward. I don't think he's going to go for a move on Sebastian Jobe here. He wants to sit behind. He wants to be fair. He might try bump drafting. The fact is that 1.1 second, 1.2 second gap, it's just not going to close down. All you've got is you've got Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2, you've got the Ascari chicane, and then you've got the Parabolica. Max Benneker is far, far, far too good of a peddler to make a mistake at this point that would cost him more than a second. There is no way Max Benneker drops this, and he'll move to 169 points. 1 single point away from finalist mode. That is painful. And Kevin Siggy with 10th is still not in it. It will only be Jobe at Jeddah.
It will. And Jobe will have every chance at a track where he has already succeeded. He's the first ever winner at Jeddah in ESL R1. He's the first ever winner in, should we say, highly competitive motorsport here on Renge Sport here at Jeddah, so he's got every chance to do it twice here tonight. But one man who is going to do something twice, as in win at Monza twice, the legend, that is Max Benneker, returns once more, this time for Mouse, the sole contender for Mouse, but he is the sole man on top step of the podium, this time at the Temple of Speed again. It's Max Benneker who wins at Monza, a 2nd win in a row, and 1 step away from entering finalist mode. There is Luke Bennett. He finished in 3rd. Sebastian Jobe splitting the difference in 2nd place.
Yeah, indeed. There you can see Luke Bennett. There you can see Sebastian Jobe 1 position away, and you can see that
he looks stressed.
That's beginning to frustrate. It is beginning to frustrate. And